How do you identify personally and in engineering contexts?
I see myself as Black first and foremost. Being Black shapes my viewpoint around everything. I was raised in a predominantly white town and had good access to education. When you get around other groups of people who don't necessarily have access to the same education, you may speak differently than they do. So then you get the whole, oh, you're Black on the outside and white on the inside. That was something that shaped how I would interact with people. It made me feel guilty about being as smart as I was or talking the way I did until I was able to go ahead and really face and confront it. And know that it wasn't anything I had done to really bring about this type of response that I was receiving. Nowadays, I don't feel that way anymore. I feel as if I operate in both worlds. When I'm in my community, I speak the way I normally do. And when I'm out of my community and in a more professional environment or around people who are not in my community, I change my language a bit. I remember the first incident where I truly was just like, no one can ever really say I'm white in any way was when I was in New York visiting my father. I think I was 14 or 15 at that time. I went into a thrift store with my stepbrother and I was so excited because I was going to buy this sick jacket that everyone had. And I was looking around and I didn't really see anything that I liked. It was only me in the store besides the two store clerks. While I was browsing the store, I realized that there was this lady who was following me. It was weird because they weren't looking at any clothes. They were just touching hangers and moving to the sides. Then I got the sense that they were checking on me because they followed me to each rack. So I tested them and I crouched as if I was tying my shoes to where they couldn't see me. And I was kind of just waiting for them. I was looking at directly where they would have stepped into view if they were following me. And when they saw me, they immediately, stepped out of view. But I felt so uncomfortable. I got up, grabbed my stuff, and left. I cried that night because I recognized that while shopping, I was being profiled as someone who was going to rob the store or steal items without paying. That really just cemented for me, these types of experiences that I'm having today and I'll have in the future, where there's no way this white on the inside identity that other people tried to give me is going to ever be able to be used by me. In terms of other identities, I am a cisgender man. So that comes into play when I have to hesitate to see how aggressive I may come off to somebody from me being Black and then being a cisgender man specifically. If we are going to go a little deeper, I do not fully identify with LGBTQ identity. But if the Q stands for the sense for questioning, I guess it is there. As far as queerness is involved, I identify with some aspects of that community. Regarding financial status, I would just say that I'm poor. And I'm one paycheck away from everything in my life being uprooted and not being able to pay all my bills. And there not being any type of security blanket for me or backup plan for me.
What are some identity-related challenges you have experienced in engineering?
When I was in high school, I never considered computer science. It was one of those majors that was reserved in my mind for super smart people, not people who are just going to do the work and work hard at it. That you had to be super gifted in math, and you had to love science to be in CS. I probably was slated towards business. I was in a marketing association for students in high school and doing competition things. It made the most sense resume-wise to go into business. One of my friends at the time learned about computer science and let me know how cool it was. When I transferred from community college to the university, I had a disadvantage compared to other students. When you are from community college, other people see you as being from the lower middle class or potentially poor. I did all the coding classes the year before I transferred, so I had to actively relearn everything that for others was still fresh. And I had to keep up with what was being taught in my classes to no longer feel left behind. I think that poverty shapes your mind and your decisions. I think many of my decisions are based on risk aversion, which can keep me from enjoying or participating in certain opportunities because I'm afraid of the fallout. For example, in my classes, when professors offer extra credit assignments or opportunities to become more involved with the course, it's hard for me to find the time to do it. I work roughly 30 hours per week and go to school full time. I always have to think about my current situation. I'm envious of those who are able to just be students. They don't have the added pressure of also needing to work to support themselves and their families. It has not allowed me to fully experience the university the way other students do. just being able to go to school and just think about school and not have these other worries on your mind, like, I have never actually experienced it. Something I found challenging in my program is the expectations from professors who measure success in a class by how much effort you put into it. I personally have always worked other jobs throughout my entire university career. A lot of the times when professors had office hours or tutoring, they directly coincided with my work schedule. The only advice they give you is if you need help is that you have to go to tutoring or to come to office hours. I've been lucky to have some accommodating professors, but I think that culture in the beginning discouraged me more than anything to seek out help. I knew since I wasn't able to meet expectations of going to tutoring or being available for office hours, professors would see me as a student who didn't really care that much. It's frustrating to see because it's just like, I care about this class. I care about my degree, about my knowledge, but I can't adhere to that time that you have available because I need to work. I remember during my first year after I transferred to the university from community college, I was never clinically diagnosed, but I was feeling depressed. There was a lot going on in my life. I was houseless. I had a place to go, but I didn't have a physical house that would be able to put as my address. I was living over at my sister's house temporarily, and other stuff was going on. I got out of a relationship during that year. I didn't have a car in my first 2 years of university. I took the bus everywhere. And between those three things, I felt a lot was stacked against me, and I couldn't focus the way I wanted to on my studies. I decided to start to take a step back from my academic responsibilities. I physically felt like I couldn't handle them with everything else going on. I would be looking at the things I needed to do, and it would be weighing me down even more. Mental health is hard to prove to professors. How do you explain that you're dealing with something you may need some type of extra accommodation? With one of my classes, I was doing well at the beginning of the semester, and then suddenly, I wasn't turning in assignments or going to class. When I failed the class, my professor, Dr. B, was like, "Hey, look, I don't really know what's going on, but this is not acceptable. So I'm going to make you a proposal. I'm going to give you an incomplete. You're going to do the work that you need to do over the summer. And upon the end of it, you'll get the grade for whatever you do for the assignments you miss if you're willing to join this professional enhancement program." I told him yes. I did his professional enhancement program and did amazing on that. I didn't do all the other work he assigned me, though. He gave me another semester, and I finally did it. I got an A on every assignment. He was the first person to see something in me to give me a chance to prove myself. Being able to go into it and explain to him what I was going through really helped me. It helped me to see that someone cared to notice that something was happening to me and wanted to see if there was anything that we could do about it. It made me feel that I didn't want to disappoint him.
How have your identity and experiences influenced you today?
I'm definitely more active in social justice than I was before because of the experiences I've had and the countless experiences that I saw online of other Black people. I feel as if I have a responsibility to contribute to resisting that. I currently work with organizations primarily surrounding prison abolition and making communities safer. I just started volunteering with the state's immigration coalition and things of that nature because I want to give back and protect communities that can't protect themselves.
If you gave advice to someone like you, what would you say?
I would tell a younger me to not feel as if they needed to assert themselves into everything to stand out so much. Over the years, I probably developed some type of overcompensation. There's that idea that how often you participate in class correlates to how smart you are and how much you care. And be open to your peers regarding collaboration and sharing of ideas. Some students can be a little bit snobbish, and they're not really looking to collaborate with you, even if you're on a team with them. There are other people who also have that same experience but are able to share that information and their knowledge. There's the unnecessary added pressure that you give yourself when you compete against other students within your class. I really wish students would just understand that we're all in the same class and that you're not being rated by your standing within the class. You get rated on your GPA. I would also tell someone like me to seek help when you need it because I'm the type of person who tells myself that I'm going to resolve the issue myself, and then weeks later, I didn't do anything. And it's the end of the semester when it's like the breaking point, and I've talked to nobody about this, and there's no way anybody would have known the issues that I was having throughout the year. Being able to go ahead and let professors know what I'm going through, even with my peers that can help me, makes things easier in the end. So I would say relax and don't feel so pressured to be involved in everything, and just focus on what you're learning and learn it well.